Well, hello YouTube. Welcome back, and this is day 3, or the end of day 3 of the Sentinel League. Today was a little bit of a shorter day for me. We only streamed for like 14 hours. I'm gonna catch up on that sleep deficit, but as we can see in the background, this build is absolutely popping off. I'm super happy at this point that I started it, especially considering the last 5 league starts I've had have all been very dodgy. This one doing exactly what we thought it would do. We are doing juiced red maps, 60% delirious, hoping tomorrow that we end up at 100% delirious, but for now we're just at 60 because we hit some currency walls. This should be a very profitable strat, and it is a very profitable strat, but it's also super expensive to get into. The maps we're looking at right now cost me about 150 chaos to launch and net me about 250 chaos per map in various things. This is 60% delirious scarab stuff with all sorts of juice and sextants and everything, but having the entry cost be so high has meant we haven't been able to jump into 100% delirious. Also, the character was just a little too weak to do 100% delirious until recently. We do have 2 inspired learnings on here, which is quite nice. I don't see any reason at all to change out of 2 inspired learnings and put a headhunter on, so I'm probably not even going to get one. I guess since we've begun printing money, I might go for a mage blood instead, since I don't really see a reason to use the headhunter. That feels like the only thing I can do. But it's super fun to play. I did do both of my own regular quest bosses, the Searing Exarch and Eater of Worlds. I did those, but then I got a carry for my other 2 stones. So it performed slightly better in bosses than I expected, because I was thinking I would need to get a carry for all 4. But this is supposed to be just a mapper. Now, we did make a few upgrades, actually mostly only in our tree and weapon setup, but we will jump in game and show you guys what has happened. All right, here we are in game. Absolutely loving it. Level 92. And so there's a few changes we made. One, we wanted to go double inspired learning. So in order to go double inspired learning, I needed to get another place to put it. I had originally planned on stretching all the way over here and giving up like everything, all my life and everything, to get my extra inspired all the way down here. But I realized that since I've gone Secrets of Suffering, I've got a ton of crit. And it meant I didn't need any of the crit from here, although it's a little sad to lose all that crit multi. It means I could lose the Lionized Jewel and just unspec all of this, get my leech back here, and take another inspired learning slot, and not have to stretch all the way down here and lose absolutely everything. I did have to lose Forces of Nature, which is a decent damage down, and do a little respec through here because I'm going to get this jewel socket in a few levels. But that let me put on my entire cluster setup. So I have 2 streamlined repeaters because I really like projectile speed, and projectile speed is projectile damage. So these are 40% increased damage and then 30% damage with 8% attack speed. So that's pretty cool. We are still not suppression capped, but we are at like 80% suppression, I think. So suppression chance. Oh, 90%. We're at 90% chance. So next level, we're going to get that, and that'll cap us. So that'll be 93, which is a little high and a lot of investment on the tree for suppression, but defensively, we don't have a lot going for us. Other than that, we do have, 13,000 armor and 9,000 evasion, which isn't incredibly squishy, but it's not incredibly tanky either. So this is the way that tree currently looks. You can see we squeezed out here for aspect to make our other inspired learning work. We could have, for 1 less point, just taken a frenzy charge, but this really did feel like the right thing to do. Crit is pretty nice, but most importantly, movement speed, damage. Now, over into the path of building we go. and we've upgraded our DPS pretty decently. We're at 3.4 mil single target now. What is important is that our lightning arrow on its own is still at 1.2 mil now, just on its own, and it is using an awakened fork and a mirage archer. So we've got elemental damage with attacks, Trinity, Inspiration, Mirage Archer, Awakened Fork. Now, I was able to drop GMP entirely to put on Fork, which has been very, very nice. Because we put on Awakened Fork, we're now anointing Split Shot. So I don't even think Split Shot is necessarily worth it with a regular fork that only forks once. In fact, I think that I would have put on Chain over Fork if I couldn't get the Woke version, but Woke Fork was quite cheap. I think it was only like 1.9x when I bought it, which for a Woke Fork is insane. And putting that on a Deadeye made it just so much better. My clear went up so much. It's so good. However, one of the best reasons, one of the things we did that made us able to drop GMP and go to Fork was we got additional arrows. The first one is my absolutely gorgeous quiver with projectile speed and elemental damage implicit, crit multi, damage with bows, and wed. That is a powerhouse quiver. It also has an empty prefix, so I will be augmenting life onto it at some point, and this is probably my forever quiver. I will never replace this quiver. That might be on this character until the end of days. At least it definitely will be if it hits a good life roll when I aug life in. So there's one extra arrow. However, this is the most interesting thing. Now, this weapon is only half built right now. When I say half built, it's more than half built, but the prefixes are done and 2 of the suffixes are fractured. So I plan on re-rolling keeping prefixes until I get something in the suffix, or maybe even nothing in the suffix, and then crafting prefixes cannot be changed and like ashlinging double damage, or rolling no suffix at all and then getting a double damage on it. That's probably where I'll go. It could also be recrafted super easily with essences to get better rolls than it currently has, because we're looking at tier 2, tier 3 and crafted, so that can easily be beaten. But the base is going to be struggling to be beaten. That is a tier 2 attack speed roll and a additional arrow. So the astute among us are like, wait a second, that's double fractured. How the hell did we get double fractured? Recombinating things is actually insane. If you get 2 fractured bows, or this applies to anything, but if you get 2 fractured bows, you get a fractured bow with attack speed and a fractured bow with an additional arrow, and you will null them all the way down so that it's only 2 mods. And then you just recombinate them together. And it does, to be fair, have a 50% chance of just completely bricking. But if it doesn't brick, you end up with something like that. And that is absolutely amazing. I am unsure if I will ever be able to replace that bow. It's actually gross. I might be recrafting it, but it's going to be very expensive to double fracture again with something like bows fire 2 additional arrows, which is what I would want to be able to beat this. So I don't see that happening. Otherwise, we didn't really do any other upgrades. That is kind of it. We just got some levels, changed our anoint to split shot, and got those. And that's got us blasting. That has us absolutely blasting. So, loving the league, absolutely loving it. Last thing is I will give a quick glance at my Atlas tree, which is just set up for tier 11 cemeteries right now. Still haven't found a brother's stash. But we're set up for delirium maps, so it's just full of things that I think will juice my delirium. I've blocked anything I don't want to stop for, and I've got all the Alva nodes because I am desperately gagging for Alva. But this is my tree the way it is. I'm still a little unsure about these Beyond nodes because I haven't been able to like roll all my maps with Beyond on it, and Beyond's not on the map device, which does make me sad. But otherwise, there's everything. Now you're all caught up. I am having an absolutely fantastic time. Full Atlas completion, by the way. And I hope everybody else is loving the league as much as I am. This has been great. I will attach the path of building in the comments of this video. Goodbye.